You guys see all these buildings here? I drive by this place a lot because my flip house is out here now. And it just kind of reminds me of something. I'm not really going to try to impress you guys or anything like that. That's not really what I'm here after. But, you know, people talk about how young I am, even though I'm 29 years old. And they find it really hard to credit me with any kind of skill or anything like that. And I just want to show you guys. Here we have about 14 buildings, each of which is, some of them, that one right there, I think is 42 square. And they range up to 70, in the low 70s. I can't remember the exact number. But I did all of these buildings. It was like 700 something square. And, you know, we knocked it out one summer in a month or two. I can't remember how long it took us. But we did all these buildings. And, I mean, you could see how much experience comes from these buildings right here. I mean, there's a lot of gravy to get really, really good at. There's a lot of this cut up stuff, you know. They've got these pipes right on top of each other with a vent near it. The vent was, you know, we probably should have used Broan vents, but I don't even think my boss knew about those back then, and neither did we. But nonetheless, they're there. I mean, look how cut up that is. You know, that one side alone is 33 squares. And let me tell you something about the guy who taught me a lot about. He didn't really teach me too much about shingling, but he's the fastest shingler, and I spent every single day. Oh, is this zoomed in? I'm sorry. I spent every single day obsessed with beating him. This building right here was 33 squares. I started beating him when we were doing these buildings. And one day we agreed that we weren't going to work the weekend. And this whole side tore off, dried in. This is the biggest gravy side on all of these buildings here. 33 squares. He came in on Sunday without telling me, shingled this entire thing by himself without no tosser, and I was faster than him. So that just goes to tell you guys, when it comes to gravy especially, I can beat him. He's very, very good around the cut up stuff. Valleys, he gets through very quickly, pipes and things like that. But when it came to just running straight gravy, that's where my methods were really, really good. And yeah, he did this 33 square side by himself. So for everybody who really doesn't believe me when I say that I've done 35 square in a day and 38 square in a day and all that stuff, I mean, this kind of reminds me of this video, the snowboarding video I saw, where these guys, they blew up the blob or whatever, you know, that little cushion thing. And snowboarders, they don't have foam pits or anything like that. You got to work your way up to tricks, because if you fall on your head, you know, there's a good chance you're not walking away from that real easy. So they have to work their way up to tricks. And they had this blob out there, and one of the guys, after a whole day of riding on this blob with no fear of throwing whatever trick he wanted, he goes, we got 2-3 years of boarding in just today. Two or 3 years worth of experience they got just in that one day alone. And that's how I feel that buildings or projects like this, you know, we done a 660 square warehouse, a lot of that stuff has really fast forwarded a lot of my progress. So I just wanted to kind of share that with you guys today. I'm going to drive you over to one of these sides, and I wish I had my big tape with me. I'd get out and measure it for you guys so you know I'm not bullshitting here. But in the meantime, I do want to apologize for not posting my other video, Rolled Roofing Part 2 yet. I just started working on that yesterday. As a matter of fact, that job alone, or that job itself, I still haven't even received the money for. So I've been really hustling, putting whatever money I can scrap up into the business, into my flip house, into keeping my employees busy. And it's really cost me a couple grand throughout this time. So I don't want to make excuse. You know, time management is something I take a lot of pride in. And if I really wanted to do it, I'll be honest, I probably could have done it by now. But, you know, I just want to apologize to you guys for not letting that go. So this gravy side right here was 22 square. Okay. Now, I did this building right here while he did that one that I just showed you. these are the same size buildings. Ducky had that gravy side. I had the gravy side on the back side of this. Okay, it's the same as the one I just showed you, 22 square. We started at about 9 a.m. and we were wrapped up. I was wrapped up by 2 o'clock. And this is summertime when, you know, we got 12-hour days easily. So, you know, if you get a good start. So, anyway, I've wrapped up my side, beat him by about 45 minutes. And then I came over here. We had this, there was this heroin addict shingling on this side. And he made the tiniest little stair steps. He had like barely even like 5.5 inches, maybe at most, stair steps, because he wanted to create his rake really, really quickly to get up. So he made a bunch of little tiny stair steps. So he ended up quitting at like 3 o'clock. He got on like 12 square, about half of that. I think he only went up to the, he only went up to the vents there, right? He actually didn't shingle around any of those penetrations. So I picked up and I ran out the gravy all the way out to the end, and then I came through and did all his shit too. And through all that bullshit and everything, I still managed to get out, I can't remember how much. It was around 30 square or whatever. I may not have even finished it, honestly. I may have left maybe half of those out for him. I think I actually did. But I know for a fact I finished this side over here. I'll bring you to. And, you know, this video is more just filler stuff, but there is some good information in here, I feel. Yeah, this side right here. Ripped that off, put it all on. And the guys were tearing off. This is probably the only building they tore off without us, because we tore off, just 4 guys. We tore off pretty much every single building here. We tear off for a week, shingle for a week, something like that. And these guys were barely even done tearing off one of those sides when I was finishing shingling that other one, you know. Oh, it was a good time. We had a Atlas out here, like a lull, you know, with the forks on it. And we built like a 12-foot box. And we literally put that right up to the soffit line. We would just put it right up to that soffit line, and we'd tear off and just drop it right inside of there. And then we'd come down, go dump it, move it right back over to the next side. So we didn't have to walk trash anywhere. We weren't letting nothing hit the ground. It was a really, really nice process. And we got a lot of experience through it all. I mean, Ducky didn't need no extra experience. He just needed the money. But I was soaking everything up like a sponge. And by the time we were through this, I was completely a master act in shingling. So I'm very thankful for projects like this, you know, and the bigger ones we got to do. I was very disappointed. 2014, I was in Afghanistan, and you know, there was a huge storm that hit while I was gone, and they got this project called the Rittenhouse, and it was 900 square, and they tore it all off and they put it all back without me. But that's all right. I was out there making that easy money. Came back with some fat cash, enough to get my own business going shortly thereafter anyway. Yep, this is Willow Creek Estates. Maybe not Estates. Willow Creek Apartments. But all right, guys, I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that gives you guys a little bit more of a sense of why I think that you guys should be willing to learn from me. It's just because I put the time in. I mean, I would sit there and teach myself how to shingle, even though I already knew how to shingle, and that's what makes me, you know, able to describe what I'm actually doing to you guys, or that makes me describe what I'm actually shingling and doing. Makes me describe it a lot better for you guys, because I would sit there and I would shingle non-stop, and I would talk about reach, you know, as I'm nailing, making sure I reach for that thing, you know, reach for that next shingle with my left hand. As I'm spreading my bundles, I was paying attention to how many shingles I need to leave at that top stack as I start pulling them down. If I'm reaching for my stacks too much, then that means I need to pick up more. If I'm stepping on my shingles, I need to leave more. So I would sit there teaching myself absolutely everything, and that's manifested itself into what you guys see today. Me being able to teach this stuff to you guys and really spread my knowledge and all the hard work that I put in to help you guys be able to become more efficient shinglers. And that's what we're after here. I want everybody who's paid by the square to be able to get on a gun and make money effortlessly. So, all right, I'm gonna wrap that up right there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't want to drive too much while I'm filming, so bye.